So the Lakers are looking for a deal, and many people's preferred deal is the San Antonio Spurs deal, right? Something like McDermott, Richardson, and Jakob Portal, right? Something along those lines. If they could get those three, many people are like, hey, you get that young 3-and-D guy. Josh Richardson looks like an absolute stud right now. He's playing great for San Antonio. You get that 3-point sniper in McDermott. You get a low post sort of center that Anthony Davis can now shift over to the 4. It is a really solid package. Now, personally, it's not my favorite package. I do think Josh Richardson is probably the best player we could get out of all the proposed deals that are out there. But I think as a package as a whole, I don't think this is the best package, personally. I think the Charlotte deal, depending on what you get from that, plus the assets you'd have to give up. San Antonio, you very likely have to give up one, if not both, first-round picks, where the Charlotte deal, it's not out of the realm of possibility, depending on what you take back, especially if you're taking back, a Terry Rozier and a Gordon Hayward, that you'd have to give up anything. I mean, you can make an argument that the Charlotte Hornets should be giving you assets because you're taking on such long-term deals, right? You're taking Hayward's 2 years, taking Rozier's 4 years. That's a lot of money to take on, and then to give up assets on top of that. But here's the thing about the Spurs deal, right? Again, Josh Richardson is a guy that I think can really give you the quality you're looking for, right? Good size, good length, 3-and-D. We already have one of the top-ranked defenses in the league right now. He would just come in and add to that, really help the three-point shooting. The Lakers need a bit of a facelift, right? They need some change in the lineups, right? I don't think the Lakers have a bad team. I just think they're in this bit of a funk, and bringing in and getting rid of Russell Westbrook, as much as I like Russell Westbrook, and I think Russell Westbrook, wherever he ends up, is going to kind of get back to being Russell Westbrook. I think if he goes to Washington after he gets bought out by, say, the Spurs, right? I think he's going to ball out for Washington. I think he's going to be really good there. I just think the fit and just decision-making at times for Russ just isn't good, right? And so I think, one, that's sort of, this dark cloud over the team, just all the drama going on with, him, the media, the fans, things like that. I think getting rid of him kind of would light a new fire under the team, and also bringing in some new fresh faces that weren't involved in that, right? They weren't involved in the Russell Westbrook, sort of drama and just, debacle that there was, right? They're coming in, sort of wet behind the ears for the Lakers, a new exciting situation, right? And they're just like, hey, let's go, let's grind. We're on a team that, has LeBron James and Anthony Davis, and I think Richardson could really help and thrive with this team. I mean, again, he's looked great for San Antonio, and he's kind of, he's came off the bench in, I believe, all the games or majority of the games, but he's a guy that could and should probably start for San Antonio, but San Antonio's tanking, and still, even coming off the bench, he's playing great. So he would likely start for the Lakers, but even if he did come off the bench, you got a guy that has put up 30 off the bench for the Spurs. I mean, that's a great position to be in if you're the Lakers, and I do think he is probably the best all-around player as far as youth, talent, scoring, defense, everything that there is out there. And then, of course, having a guy like, Jakob Portal, look, I think he's the reason I wouldn't want to do the deal. I would rather have the trade exception, because you'd have a $21 million trade exception if you don't take on the center, right? If you just go Richardson and McDermott, then you don't have to worry about taking on a center that doesn't really fit, right? And I know a lot of people really like him, and I like him too. I'm a fan of him too, but can't shoot. He's not good at the free throw line. He is a big body that would be solid, but this team is young and fast. We've seen when they get out and run, they are a good team. They're not very good in the half court currently, and I don't think that taking on Jakob Portal is going to be a guy that's going to kind of help in that area, help in that department. It might be nice to have just a low post guy that you could dump the ball down to and kind of let him go to work time to time, but I don't think he helps the three-point shooting. I don't think he helps in, really any of the categories that we need currently. Where if you get the trade exception, and let's say you don't have to give up both firsts, maybe you could work something out to still do the sort of Pacers deal, right? Maybe you could, if you have a $21 million trade exception and let's say a first round pick, maybe you could use that trade exception and that first and take on a Miles Turner now, right? And so now you end up with McDermott, you end up with Richardson, and then you end up with Turner. I think that would be a better deal. Or you have that $21 million trade exception that you could kind of just hold on to and see if anything else develops, right? Maybe even work something out to where maybe you do get a Buddy Hield and Miles Turner, because you have 21 million exception, and then you do have guys, like maybe you unload a Patrick Beverley. I know some people don't want that to happen, but I mean, if you could get Buddy Hield, Josh Richardson, McDermott, and Miles Turner for essentially Buddy Hield and Russell Westbrook and 2 firsts, like, I would do that. I think you have your defense, I don't think is going to lax. I think you're going to have good defense. You have, now 3 to 4 guys that can shoot. You basically just did a whole roster rehaul, and I think that could really impact the game and this team heavily. I don't like having a center that I just think would be a clunky fit. I'd rather have the trade exception personally. If we do take, Jakob Poeltl, then we do have, I think it's like 14 million in a trade exception, which is still pretty solid, but it's still not everything you need, right? Yeah. I think I'd rather have the larger trade exception and then save that for if something comes down the line. It just comes down to what you could get or what you'd have to give up to San Antonio, right? Because San Antonio might look at it as like, hey, you're getting a $21 million trade exception, getting a young guy in Josh Richardson, you're getting McDermott, you're still saving salary. We want both first. That might be a little bit of a problem. If we could get like a Zach Collins, though, I would actually prefer that. A guy that can, come off the bench, he could start, he's a good shot blocker, he can actually shoot a little bit, nothing elite or anything like that, but, I feel like he would be a much better fit. He's a faster center, he can run, we've seen him run up and down the court. I think if you could get Collins, I think that would be better. You still, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, would get a pretty substantial trade exception, and I would rather go that route than take on Jakob Poeltl, although he's an expiring too. Like, it's just, I just think, like, if you're going to bring on another big man, I'd rather bring on one that fits what you're trying to do more rather than a guy that kind of is a clunky fit that you're trying to make work that may or may not work. Jakob Poeltl, like, maybe he does work. Maybe he does work out, and it is a great fit. But, like, I don't think the Lakers are in the position right now to where it's like, hey, let's try different things. Let's try something and see if this works. I think they need to go for guys that they know should work and will work that can really help elevate this team. And I think, McDermott, Josh Richardson, and like a trade exception, or if you could get Zach Collins, trade exception, I think that would be the best way to go. Kind of work on multi-team deals. Also, there was a report today that Rob Pelinka was trying to work out 3 and 4 team deals, and I do think he's still probably trying to do that, because with those assets and with multiple guys in deals, like, there's a lot of teams that are going to want to, do the carousel, especially like tanking teams. So, like, I think you could work out a 3-team deal with like the Spurs and the Pacers and the Lakers, right? I think you could work out a deal like that. Or like the Hornets, the Spurs, and the Lakers, or you get what I'm saying. Like, I think you can mix and match, and maybe I'll dive into some of those might be 3-team deals and kind of just piece together certain things that I think could happen and that I'd personally like to see happen, and I'm sure many of you would as well. But sticking with the Spurs, I think a Zach Collins would be a better fit than a Jakob Poeltl. Like, that's just me personally. But either way, I mean, look, if you can unload Russ, get a deal, I think at the end of the day, it's great. Like, I know a lot of people really want the Spurs deal, and I wouldn't be upset if we got the Spurs deal, right? I would, even if we did get Jakob Poeltl, like, I still wouldn't be upset about that. I just think as a package, I still think the Hornets deal is better. My biggest concern is just Hayward. Like, Gordon Hayward is, if he can stay healthy, he is probably the best fit out of any player that the Lakers could possibly get. A guy that can play 3 and D, a guy with size, a guy that you can run your offense through, a guy that doesn't really make mistakes, a guy that can give you 20 plus a night if you need him to. Like, I just think he would be a great fit. And then like a Kelly Oubre, especially if you can get like a PJ Washington in the deal or a Terry Rozier. Then again, you get a whole roster rehaul. You get basically 30 guys or 3 guys that can come in and basically provide everything this team is lacking: the defense, the shooting. I still kind of prefer that deal. I think if Hayward works, I think he really helps elevate this team, and you have like a bona fide third option. But that's a big ask, right? But nonetheless, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. As always, this is a discussion, so I want to hear from you. Let me know down in the comment section below. What do you think? Is this your favorite deal? Is it not? Also, do you want me to kind of explore some 3-team deals? If you do, let me know down in the comment section. If you guys are interested in me, like, kind of piecing together maybe like a Spurs and Pacers, Hornets, Pacers, Hornets, Spurs. Maybe we'll do a couple videos of each. But I want to make sure that it's something that you guys would be into. So let me know down in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about this trade.